All right, took a little break, had to get some food. And so here's where we left off. And I'm just kind of looking at my, where I'm at, and I'm looking at the picture here. And I definitely want to bring a little bit more curvature to this tree, kind of like the picture is. I just made it too straight here. So I want to see if I can actually fix that right now. Now, normally what I would do is I would take the color here, like down here, this light gray, and let's say I wanted to change it. Now normally what I do is I would just go over the part where I want to change, and I'm seeing if I can do that with Yupo here. And I can actually kind of change it, the shape of that trunk a little. It kind of scratches back a little, but I'm able to cover it with the gray here. Okay, and then this part kind of comes out a little like that, kind of comes down. There you go. And then I gotta carve out this part to follow that. So that's kind of using the negative space to define, the actual tree here. And it's really scratching back. It doesn't work too well on this part of it. This is easier to do on normal paper. Yupo is trying to scratch back, so I'm kind of fighting with Yupo at the moment. And that's the frustration of this paper, is this kind of stuff where something that's easy for me to do on my pastel mat is not so easy on Yupo. It's like half scratching it back, half leaving it there. It's really weird. Now my light's going to come from this side of the picture. So this side is going to eventually be the lighter side. This side is going to be the darker side. So here's a blue, Prussian blue. I didn't use that. I used a lavender over there, but this is a good dark. We'll use this as a dark here. I was using that slate gray here before, but I'm going to now switch over to this Prussian blue and just go right over the top of that gray. This is another Mungyo. You can see what it looks like there. Okay, so that's a Prussian, called the Prussian blue. And just define this tree here. So this is actually working really nice. I got a few layers of, I got the silver gray, and then I got the brown, and then the dark gray. And so now this is kind of a fourth layer, right? Kind of a fourth layer. And so it's getting easier to work with. There's less scratch back and more just putting the color down which is what I want. Okay, and we're just going to go darker, because remember we're going to build some leaves here, so it's going to be darker towards that top of that canopy as it meets that here. Okay. We can adjust that, but that's a little bit better, I think, as far as this tree goes. I want to see if I can just shave that a little bit more. Okay, and there's that silver gray. See if I can put that over the top, and I can. That's nice. Actually, it's kind of just scratching it back, which is fine. It's basically the same. I just want to shave it a little bit right there, a little bit too thick right there. Trying to cover that little mark. Alright, so it's kind of working for the most part. That'll be all right. Probably as I get more layers into it, it'll look a little better. Okay, so I'm going to bring a little bit down here, kind of soften that line a little. Soften that. Need to establish, we don't want any sharp lines right in the background because we want to establish that sense of distance. So we're going to make sure that the lines in the background here are blurred up. I'm kind of just going over the edges here. Just kind of make that look like a little bay or something, right? So yeah, I gotta soften those lines. You want to make it really faint. Kind of feather the colors over each other here, and that will give you that effect. All right, and if I take this same gray here that's in the water and I just go over the green, I can then lighten up this value too and make that a little bit feel more distant from us. All right, trying to create that sense of distance, right? You can see that it's just a value adjustment and making sure there's no sharp lines back there. There we go. Looks a bit more realistic, I think, that way. Oops, I got a little brown in the water now. So that, I should probably clean this stick up a little bit. Just making sure that water is going across. I don't want to make sure that's flat. All right, so that's pretty good. We're gonna switch things up here. All right. Okay. Now let's work on the leaves. So just look at the darks and the lights. You just find the darks, the dark parts, right here. Okay. That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the darks, and the lights. Let's pick out 2 sticks. That's going to give us that. So here's a good dark. This is also a good green dark. It's kind of a Mungyo. Got just a little bit left. This is another good dark. It's a Sennelier. I don't want to start with that yet because that's really soft. But maybe even this slate gray for our darks. Okay. So let's put that down there. You can see what I'm using for darks, and I'm thinking about the darks in the tree. Okay, it's not black. I'm not going to use black. All right, we're going to use a combination of these most likely. We're probably going to start with this Prussian, but we'll see how it works. Okay, now I need another color to indicate the actual green part, you know, the parts that we can see here, these lighter greens. I could go with this, but I think I'm going to dip into some of these here. So maybe this one here. It's kind of a pine green. I don't know if it's the right value. It would work, but I think I want to go a little bit cooler. It's probably going to be one of these suns, unfortunately. These are great greens, but I don't know if I want to start with this sun. Maybe this turquoise. That's an option too. I think we're going to try with the suns and just see how that works. So maybe these 2 guys. They're very similar. I think they're actually the same color. And I've got a couple different varieties of it. Here's another version of it. It's got a little bit more blue. Okay. So these are scents. These are really soft. That's why I got them in the papers. Because it's really, color is really soft here. All right, so let's take a look here. And maybe we'll just start right here, right where I see a band of dark go right here. And I'm just going to take this blue and just kind of put in a dark. Okay. Kind of bring it down a little bit more, maybe. So I'm just taking the edge and just kind of pressing in. And a little bit of scratch back is happening, but it is getting deposited over the top of that silver gray. Doing this doesn't seem to be good. You can see when I do this mark, it doesn't deposit down rather than when I just do like that. Okay, so normally I do a lot of drawing like this. I like to draw with the edge of the stick here, but for this one I'm going to have to really just focus on doing it this way, because this style here isn't working with Yupo. Not like I want. Okay. So I'm using a slightly different way of doing it than I would normally do on paper. And bring that down. We're pretending these are that foliage there in the back that's really dark. I'm kind of just looking at my picture here and trying to just match what I see. I'm knowing this is going to take some layers. This is just the first time through it. Probably going to bring a green on top just to see what that looks like. Okay, so I'm just looking at the darks. Right, I'm just putting that in. Now, normally on normal paper, what I would do is do that, but that's not working with Yupo. Okay, and we have a kind of a break. There's light coming through, and there's just darks up in here. I can kind of get a broader stroke. That's actually a little better if I can just get broader. Okay, there's another little opening right there. Right in there. I can see the darks in here. I'm going to just save some time and see if I can just... I'm going to have to work in layers, a lot of layers here. It's pretty cool how the blue just naturally fades when you do it like that. Okay. Down the edges here. Oops, I don't want to come at the... That's all right. We'll just make that work like that. Even though the picture doesn't do that there, but that's okay. Okay, it's dark, dark, dark. Yep. Okay. Towards the edges, I get a little bit more like that. All right, I think I want it to hang a little bit more over here. Maybe right in there. Leaving some spaces there. Cover that. That's mostly dark. So pretty much do the whole thing blue, right? But we'll bring some other colors here. All right, so remember, darker in here and here. Definitely there. It's definitely darker in the under part of this tree. Okay, so that's good for this blue here. Prussian blue, handy stick. All right, now let's take this green. I'm just gonna see what this looks like. I'm not gonna even see if this is really gonna work. And don't think that's going to work. It's just scratching back the blue, and it's actually a lighter value, and that is not gonna work. All right, so that was a bad idea. That's not gonna work. So let's cover that back up with the Prussian blue. And I'm gonna have to go soft. I'm gonna have to go softer than this Mungyo here. And let's see if the Neopastel will lay on top of that. So that's a little better. It does scratch back a little bit too. They're very close. I need something, I need soft. I need softer than, I need the Sen, this guy right here. Maybe even this. All right, let's put that on there. Perfect. That's perfect. It's just the Yupo likes the softer stuff, at least for the way I'm using it. So I'm just going right over that blue with this green. Okay, so wherever I see that blue, I just take this green, and this is what it looks like here by itself. See it there? I don't have the number on it, but just a nice dark green Sen. Okay, and we're going right over that Prussian blue with it. With the paper here, I gotta kind of readjust all the time, so. It's dark in here. This green is going to be all right. I might even go darker than this. I might add this really dark blue over the top of everything. Scrub that in there. Okay, you can see where I'm creating these darks. Just trying to follow this picture. So it's dark up in here, right up in here. And definitely need to get darker than that up in there, but it's a start. In there. Over here on this side. So just get a darker value right there. Try to keep my camera on my work. I gotta remember to, otherwise you guys won't see what I'm doing here. So that's just a little bit of that green. Any more pressure gets you definitely a little bit darker mark. Just gotta be careful not to put too much or it tries to scratch back. Okay. Now let's take this this is my dark value. That's why I got the big stick for it, because I use it quite a bit. It's just a nice dark blue. Let's go right over the top. And then we can even make darker. You know, by itself, there's a bit of transparency there. On top of other colors, though, we can get nice and dark. Just scrub that blue around. Mostly dark here on the underneath part of it. We're losing part of our branch in our trunk here, but we're gonna redefine all that here. I'm just being really random where those darks are striking, you know, it's not like, I just gotta make sure that it's kind of just random spots. Some areas are really dark. All right. So that's a very handy one to have. That's why I got the grand size, because I use it a lot. It's 007, I think is the number, yeah. 007. It's a Sen. And I use it really on top of the existing colors to get it just darker. I don't like to use black in landscapes. I find black is just too strong, too flat. And instead I use just a dark blue, and I think it looks a little better. Okay. All right, now these guys. You see, here's the difference between these two. One's a little bit warmer. One's just a little bit more blue. I've had these for a long time, actually. These little sticks have lasted a long time. All right. Let's just start getting in it up here. That's where I see this color up here. Sens are just so nice to work with. It covers, there's no fighting the Yupo. The color just stays, marks where you put them. I just like these. These are my favorite oil pastels. They are the best. I just wish they weren't so expensive. All right, so you can see that contrast. You got the lighter green, and then you got that dark contrast right underneath. that looks great. I might go through this whole little stick here on this little painting here. The rest of it anyway. It's getting hard to hold on to it. Just want to slice around on my finger. All right. So right in here, I need a little lighter. Right here, gotta make sure to leave some of that dark there. You need a paper to really hold on to the stick, otherwise it just kind of slides around. Just super soft. Okay. Okay, let's try the other one. This one's going to be a little bit easy. Let me clean my hands. It's getting a little messy. All right, let's try this one. This is a little bit warmer. So, let's see what it looks like. See, the value of it's just a little warmer. Really nice, so I like that combination there. Let's try that up here. Trying to find another long one like that, but I don't think I have it. Gotta get more of these, that's for sure. All right. Continuing. You got this dark section, but it's lighter up on the top, up here. Bring some of that down, and there we go. All right. This little messy little nub left. Super soft. It's just like melting in my hands here. Notice that some colors are just like that. Some colors just really, really soft. Some are harder. All right, clean hands. Let's go with this other green. I'll wipe off a little bit of that darker color there. All right. Let's see. Let's see, it's just a warmer version of that. I like the texture that the suns leave behind. You know, you can really, press into the paper and kind of do that twist mark and leave down a good indication there and get some texture. It really helps with the overall effect, I think. I like that dark right in there and kind of there. Okay. All right, this big guy, try to cover up some of these little holes back in here. You want some of them coming through, but I do want a little bit of solidness to it also. Alright, I'm going to try something a little different here. Got this color going. I think that's alright. It's pretty good. I'll bring this worm a little bit further down. Not really looking at my picture over here. I'm kind of just seeing what I like here. Alright. Clean that up a little bit. All right, so also I think I'm gonna try one of these turquoise, yeah, maybe this one. I could bring a warm highlight too. And we could try a blue. So there's a thought. If you look at the picture here, you notice the highlight on the leaves. You can see that some of these leaves really reflect the sky. They're kind of a bluish tint on the highlight because of the overcast sky. So it's basically just lighter and it's just more of a blue. You can see the sky reflection on those leaves. Okay, so what if I tried it with these blues? Will that work? Let's find out. Let's see if that'll work. Some of these marks. really know about it. It's not really standing out. There's a little bit. It's just kind of another highlight too. I like it up there, that's nice. Nice and clean. And you kind of got to twist it. It's nice. It's actually a really pretty green color. It's turquoise. And at the top there. Oh, I wonder what this would look like. This is a even more green turquoise. Bring in a little bit of different green, maybe. I'm just kind of playing around. I'm not really, I actually really like that, how that looks there. It's just a nice transition. Let's try this blue, just to be bold. Oh yeah. It gets dirty really quick, but that is a really stronger highlight of that sky with this blue here. A little light blue. It's just a light blue, but it's the sun. You're starting to see the texture on this thing is really stacking up, huh? This is where it gets really fun to work with. You can get some really cool marks. Yeah, that's starting to look a little better. Starting to look a little... Of course, it doesn't look like the picture, but that's the whole point, right? We don't want it to look like a picture. We want it to look like a painting. Just a little bit of highlights. Tree's looking pretty good. All right, now let's start fixing the trunk and branches and stuff, because we really need to bring that value back a little bit more prominent. So we need some darker colors. Now I was using this slate gray. I think I'm gonna have to go with this, or a dark brown right over here. Yeah, that looks nice. Okay. And make it darker under there. So bringing that dark branch and bring it up into the tree here. Just kind of make some random slashes somewhere up in there. And bring it down. There's pieces of it up in there. And then I think I'm gonna create some of the other little parts. Like there's a piece here. See a little piece here that kind of shoots off like right about here. A little piece there that kind of comes out. I'm just taking this gray and kind of going over that brown to kind of smear it, push it in, just add some more to it. All right. And kind of some back limbs back in here that kind of faintly grow across. Here it's a little darker, this part right here. Maybe there's little branches and sticks come out a little. Just kind of make it a little bit more organic looking. You can use this nice clean edge here. This part I was just kind of using the rounded edge to make the branch up in here. And then you can use the cleaner side to kind of contour the shaded part of this little tree. All right. let's bring out this, I'm gonna go with this beige here. So I'm really sticking with my Sens now, since that's pretty much the best for this paper. But let's bring out these ochres. Okay, these light. You can see what they look like here. This one's a little darker. We'll probably start with that one then. Right, just a light ochre, right? And let's get in the lighted side of the tree, where the sun, or not the sun, but where the light will make this side a little bit brighter than the other side there. It's got a lot of yellow in this ochre here, so I might bring a pink and try to put a little pink on top of that, see what that looks like. Alright. Gets faded out as you go into there. Alright, it's pretty good. So these ochres are good for that. But I was thinking of trying one of these kind of pinky, or my pinks. Let's see if this one looks on top of that. These are just, these are like a light pink. All right, I think this one's just a little darker. We'll go with this one. Just kind of put it right on top of that yellow. Just kind of change that a little. And then I'm gonna try blue, a darker blue. Put that right on the brown. The brown is actually a little softer, so I gotta be careful not to scratch it back. But that's looking pretty good. All right, I like that blue on top of the brown. All right, let's go to the big stick. Let's use that, it's a little easier right there. Brown. And just kind of blend that transition from that light to the dark. Just kind of going over the darks a little, very slight. I think that's pretty good. Okay. So you guys see I got a lot of different sticks going on there. I got these pinks, those ochres, remember those, the darks, the browns. Come back over again. Okay. Now here we can see a little bit of that light trunk come through the canopy, and that's kind of right up in here. So I wonder if I should do that. Let's try that out. Oops. Drop stuff all the time. All right. Let's see if I can make that work. So right here we see that light part of the trunk kind of sticks out right here. It's not so light though, not like that, but that's the idea. A little bit of light of the trunk. Or the white of the paper wants to scratch through it. There's a lot of layers going on there. That's a little better. I don't know, it's getting really messy. Hard to... I don't know if that really depicts it well enough. Let's see, let's just keep working it. It's a little better. This is actually not really the best one. Now this one's got a little purple. It's not really soft enough. I need really soft. I got too many layers. I could probably use some fix-up. I'm gonna see if I can get away without using fix-up. So it's really slick, and I mean everything's just kind of sliding around up here. So it's hard for me to get a really clear mark. It's hard to kind of blend it. Just want to get an indication of that up there. It's actually not too bad. Nope. It's immediate scratch back. we'll take this green and kind of come over part of it. Try to hide it in there. You can see it in there. You can see a little bit of that trunk in there. Oops, a little too much. I gotta clean this stick a lot because it gets really, picks up all these colors, see? Okay. All right. So yeah, you can see a little bit of there. All right, that's good enough. Maybe I'll come back and play with that. Let's continue though. All right, so I'm kind of cleaning these up here. Grabbing some of those highlights, kind of dropping, putting a little pressure down to kind of drop a stronger highlight. Okay. Pretty good. Bring it a little bit over. All right. Okay. The tree's looking pretty good, I think. We might bring some of this foliage down a little more though. Just kind of bring it down. More contrast there. Make it a little thicker. Oops. There we go. Dark. Just kind of fine tuning the tree some. Kind of shooting out these little branches here, and then you can All right. All right. So I'm not really looking at my picture. I'm just kind of fixing things a little bit on that tree, making it a little bit more substantial. All right, let's clean the hands. Take a look. It's gonna move all these guys over here. All right. I'm using mostly scents here now as we continue, but I think I'm gonna see if I can put more coverage down here with that green. Where is it? It's this one right here. Let's clean it up. And let's just see if we can get more down. Still wants to scratch back. I need a softer green here. And the picture is going to show us a little bit warmer green as we get closer to a little bit warmer green. So I need a green that's going to be softer and warmer that I can smear around and mix. Let's see about this one. I'm just going to take a guess. I'm kind of laying in that back part right here. Let's see what that looks like. It's pretty strong, but I'm going to see if I can just kind of blend it. Okay, that seems to be working okay. Just kind of cover that up. I kind of scrub that in there and then I'm taking my finger and just kind of smearing it, pressing into it. But not too much, otherwise you know what happens with Yupo, you can actually wipe it off. Right? I can wipe that all the way down to the paper if I want to. Okay, just kind of looking at my picture. All right, smear that. Still want to cover that paper up and it's just showing through. Let's pour more green down, more layers. Okay, let's see if I can just cover. It's a little better, getting some better coverage. Just gonna cover up those little white marks. I don't want to see that paper. I want to get a nice, try to get as nice even coverage here as I can get. get to the tree. Let's see, let's drop some more of this on top. Ooh, it's scratching back. See that? I'm not even trying hard, and I'm just barely scrubbing color down, but it wants to really just scratch back easily. So if I brought a gray, then I can get more layers and not get such a deep green going. That's good. This gray will neutralize that green, and then I won't scratch it back. So it's a sun gray, sunlight gray. As Yupo likes softer oil pastels. Softer the better, I guess, right? Likes the suns and the Neopastels. At least for the way I'm using them. My application, how I'm used to using them. Oops, a little brown or blue, that's okay. It's not gonna ruin things. There we go, nice coverage. Covering that paper up. A little bit of green. And a little bit of gray. And gray is doing the trick. All right, let's bring a little bit of a, gotta match that over here, right? Gotta make sure that lines up. All right. This is where I need a little stump to get into that edge. Like these little smaller stumps, you can, oops, scratch back. Oops, I don't know if that'll work. Because it just wants to scratch it back. But basically, on normal paper, you can use these to get right to the edge. But on Yupo, nope, too bad. You just have to use your finger and be really careful. So, remember that light gray in the water I started with? I'm gonna kind of come back in with this again. Try to soften that edge. Okay, that's looking a little better. All right, let's keep following that. So let's see, try to get a little closer to the edge of that tree. A lot of birds. going on. Let's try to match that same value over here. Seems to be working. Taking that same gray over this blue here. Just kind of controls it. Oh, nice. That worked out. All right. We are making it. Gotta soften that edge though, don't I? Right here. Just gonna make it. That's a little better. It's really important that when these two objects meet, the tree here and then what's behind it, that these edges, they work together. And what I mean is you have a sharp edge on the tree, right? And then behind it, you have a really soft, faded, you know, where these come together here, it's very soft and faded, so there's no sharp line, no sharp lines, excuse me. So you have something that's in focus on top of something that's out of focus, right? Or faded out or kind of pushed back. So I'm spending a lot of time just in this little part here, but I really need to get that correct. It's got to look good there. Otherwise, it's going to be an eyesore. It's not going to look right. Just create that faded edge. There we go. All right. So you could spend a lot of time just on that, but that's the whole idea. All right. That's pretty all right. Okay. All right, so now there's like a little buildings and you're starting to get a little bit more details. So let's see if we can make that work. So right here, you have like a little edge. It's kind of a edge of a forest or something. This is really, gotta be careful not to scratch back. So really wants to do that easily. Okay. Trying to just create, landscape, different kinds of things. I see some ochres in there, so maybe we can try some of that. Let's try, might be too bright. That would be too dark. Maybe this right here. There's like a field down here or something. It's just a slightly different color. Ooh, it's not really laying. I don't know if I get enough rubs, passes over it, I could kind of change it. All right, let's look at that. So the consistency of this stick here is harder than what I'm trying to put it on. And so I'm not getting any color down. You can see that what's happening is I'm just kind of smearing it, and almost like if I do press hard enough, I can get a scratch back, but it scratches back the color and just deposits that ochre. Maybe that'll work though. As long as it looks okay. I don't really care if it's scratching back. So let's see if we can make that work realistic. Kind of like that. And on the edge of it, kind of make a distant little farm field or something, huh? All right, let's keep going. Just got to be really careful. Right. Maybe there's another one right next to it, but over here. Kind of like a farm or something down in there. Almost make like little rows, or you know what I mean? Agriculture, kind of something growing down there. Maybe back right there, there's another little field. Right, just kind of make that look like farm fields or something. Maybe over here we can continue some of that over here. right? You know, just kind of use the imagination and try to like pretend that you can a little bit more slanted like that. There we go. That's a little bit more. Okay. Let's take a look at the picture again. See how there's kind of like these little feels in there. You can kind of try to get that indication of that there. All right, let's keep going. Let's try maybe this little ochre, this sen ochre here. Just kind of see what that looks like. Just kind of smearing it around doesn't really deposit. Same over here, it just kind of smears it until eventually scratches back. All right, well that's Yupo. Is it likes to scratch back easy. Okay, but let's keep going. Let's add the little buildings. So I need like a lighter gray. Try to add like indications of buildings. Might have to use a white. You know, like the roofs of like a barn or a warehouse or something. Just can be a little indication like that. That's all you really need. You just have them in different areas. If I bring a dark, I can define the bottom part of that. Okay, build buildings. Different shapes. Okay. This gray is really soft. It just easily just sits right there. Just making little indications of little buildings, little distant little village or farm or something, little houses down in here. You just put little marks, you know, little marks. Okay, see what I'm going for right there? See, it's just basically little slashes, little marks. That's all it is. Okay, let's keep going. We can add in maybe some, I don't know, trees or something. I don't know if this blue is right for that. It seems to be. The value of it is right. I don't know if it's scratching back enough or not, or too much. I wonder if this green would work or if it would be too strong. This sun green, maybe this will kind of, might actually work. I kind of smudge with my finger. All right, let's make a little distant little tree line here. There's a little row that I can kind of see. All right. I'm just playing with some different greens down in here. And should get darker as it's coming towards us. There we go. So as that distant land here, right, it's coming closer to us. The closer parts down here would be darker, right? It'd be darker. You'd be able to see more contrast in the foliage. Okay, kind of make that work down there. Come back. Rows, like a little farm. It's like half scratched back, half leaving it down. It's really weird. It's like I smear it around and I'll scratch back part of it. And then it's just, Yupo is different. That's an understatement. Okay. All right, so a little distant farm. Let's try it over here. Oops, what did I drop? Oh well, something. Try this green. Okay. Okay. Just making little farm fields. Maybe we kind of bring a perspective line back in here. Like that, that'll help with that. Like a little road, and I'm just really what I'm taking this blue and I'm just scratching right back to the paper. So it's not really putting any of the blue down. Instead it's really just kind of scratching back to the paper, and it leaves like this mark, and then I kind of feel like it kind of looks like a road, you know, like a little road there or something. There's so much thickness and layers down here that it's hard to get anything to really stick on top. So it's just kind of a smear. And it's just really slick to work with the Yupo here. Another building or something, maybe two of them, maybe one right there. Okay. And just put in some more detail down in there, some faint lines. All right, you can get as elaborate as you want, but that's kind of the basic of it. Just very faint. Try to blend it into a landscape. I don't want anything to kind of pop forward, so you know I'm using the Prussian blue and not the same values up here. All right, let's clean the hands again. And let's clean this stick. So you can use these wipes to clean the oil pastel sticks. They work just great. Cuts through it and just gets you a nice clean stick really easy. So you got to do that every once in a while because you want a nice stick to work with when you're starting off. But this is going pretty good. I'm getting a good something that's close to us to something that's far away, and I'm getting that good separation going, I feel. Looking at it through here, it looks pretty decent. Just gotta clean these sticks here, and then we're gonna lay in some distant foliage. So kind of this near stuff right here. This one's really interesting looking. So that's gonna go down in there. That will further create that illusion of that space between the tree and the background. All right, so let's take a look at these plants here. There's that one down there. You can see the color of the green. It's nice, vibrant green. It really pops out compared to the greens in the background here. You can see that these greens really pop forward. All right, there's more detail. The color is stronger, it's deeper. Okay, so look at those greens and see if you can match. We can match them. Now here's a good dark one. Okay, we'll use that as a dark, maybe for that stuff. And then we got these kind of really vibrant, bright lime greens, kind of these here, maybe even a little of this, or this one. We'll try both of them. See, they're slightly different. Now those are Mungyos, I think, or Neopastel. That's a Neopastel that I remember. I think that's a Mungyo. I'm not sure if it's gonna work down here. And I got the Sen. So let's raise this up. Okay, so let's start with this one right here. It's got this interesting, almost looks like ferns. And let's try this one first. Just a very strong green. And I don't know if it's gonna lay on top of this. I have a feeling it's gonna do a scratch back. Let's see what happens. So it kind of worked. Let's try it again. Let's go. Kind of works. It's kind of a half scratch back. There is some scratch back happening. Yes. That's okay. Let's just kind of keep making that plant that's right here. It's just got these kind of ferns that kind of go up like that. All right, let's bring some darkness to it. All right, let's try to make a little bit more detail into it. Maybe some like fern type things. It does scratch back quite a bit, but it does leave a mark. Okay. And then for a highlight, let's just see what this does. All right, looks good. All right, and just kind of play around. Let's just kind of, let's take this dark green and let's put another plant back here. It's really just major scratch back. Some plants that come up here in the front. That does not work. It's just scratching back. I'm gonna have to go with this really soft stuff, which is kind of wasn't really wanting to go to this color, but let's see. Let's try. Those are going to be too hard. Those are not Sens. I don't have the right colors. We could try these greens here. Maybe this one. It's different. It's definitely warm. Covering up some of that background, and that's all right though. It's just so goopy here, you know, it's so thick that I can't lay anything down. It just scratches back. That's just too hard of a stick. All right, let's try over here. Now I know why I didn't really stick with Yupo. Maybe with more practice I would get this under a little bit more better control. But it's working because we have a strong green color on top of muted green color. So that by itself creates this separation. So contrast, color contrast. And texture is creating that sense of distance. Okay. Just creating a mess, really. All right. All right, let's make one that kind of shoots up. Kind of comes. Well, there's some closer ones right here. Just kind of create something closer. Darker, scratch back half of it. There we go, a little darker. Okay. It's really dark down in here. There's actually a little building that's really close. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get that in, but let's just see. I just want to create that darker right here. front. It's kind of shooting up. This tree. A little fern or something that just jumps in front of that. Okay, like we're just kind of on this little ledge or edge of a cliff. I'm kind of overlooking this little valley, right? It's kind of all right. We are getting towards, let's keep going here, but I can feel that we're getting close, right? We're getting pretty close. The highlights there. Here it is. It's dark. Make it dark down in the corners. Just darker. All right, just kind of build that out. I think I'm going to leave the building out, as I don't want to have to battle the Yupo just to create a little building. All right. Yeah, just kind of a different kind of foliage. Bright greens, texture. Right here. And then if I even take the yellow, like this pale yellow right here, we can make a little bit brighter. Okay, real jungly. Yeah, it looks pretty decent. A little different than the picture, right? But you get the same concept. We got this foliage here that's closer to us, the greens that are distant back the tree here. So I'm gonna take a break, guys. I'm gonna clean my hands and kind of look at this for a little bit. And let's take a look. The tree's looking pretty good. It's got some really interesting textures and contrasts of colors. branches are looking pretty good. The distant landscape, this back in here, pushes back. And then you can see indications of a little farm kind of poking through it. And then you got the foliage here, the distant stuff that's right here on top of us. As we're sitting on the edge of this little cliff. I don't know, I think I'm done. I wonder if I want to bring in more little branch stuff in here. You know, just kind of like kind of weird little branches. I'm just poking around. I didn't have to do that, but I don't know. I just kind of like, why not? All right. Maybe a little bit more of a highlight. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring in that Bordeaux plum sen that I like. It's just a nice color to put in next to the greens. You just gotta hit a couple areas with it. So you got that contrast of this violet here, and you got it on top of the brown, and it just adds a nice redness to the, the tree trunks, which next to the greens is actually a good combination there. Just a little bit of violet with the greens. It's pretty good. I think we're gonna call it done. I'll probably poke around at it a little bit here and there. It's kind of what I do. I need to take my eyes off it for a while, and then I come back and look at it, and something will pop out at me, and then I'll fix that, or it's kind of how it works. It's hard to get something done in one pass through. You usually got to look at it a couple times, but yeah, this was fun. It was a challenge. I have to say, Yupo is not... I'm just not used to it. I've only done, this is now my third painting on Yupo. So, and this is the first time where I did a scene where we have a distant landscape kind of off, kind of up high on a cliff. We're looking at this tree, or, so that effect, that's the first time I've ever done that on the Yupo. I know exactly what to do on regular paper, but I had to really change a couple things, and you can see me kind of struggle there with some of the parts. And basically I just went to these sens to kind of make it all work, because that was the only thing that would stick on there. It's just the Yupo. It's just a really soft surface. It's like working on glass, and it's just hard to get stuff down to stick. All right. I'm going to go ahead and call this one good. So let's take a look at it again. I'm going to take off my little lens here. Remove my phone from my chest harness. Okay, so you get an idea. Oops. Distant shore. There's little farms. A lot more color on my version, right? You can see in the photograph how dark photographs are. And on mine, you can see all the color. Alright guys, so that's Yupo. And look at the texture again up close. Pretty cool texture. You can see how slick it was up there for me. Hard to get stuff going. All different colors in there. There's some of those violets you see. Underneath part, branches, texture. You can see the marks there, a little bit of scratch back down when I put those colors in. Again, those violets, really important. You can see it there, and it brings out those greens. The colors really complement each other. Alright guys, that's it. That was a challenge. I wasn't, I had to work my way through that one. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Go ahead and leave your comments and your likes. I appreciate all that. Subscribe. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Happy Memorial Day. And I'll see you guys in the next video.